Hey, how you doing, viewer? Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling fulfilled with yourself? Whatever you answer, good. We're back with our new episode in our Mead series. The topics that we've covered thus far have all brought us to this coming-of-age moment. The theme of our episode, Mead in modernity. Now, it wouldn't be the first time I've heard, Dylan, just what is happening in the world with mead right now? Why am I hearing so much about it lately, and how do I learn more? Well, let's dive into what's happening currently in the realm of honey-based alcohols. According to some studies, mead was the fastest growing avenue of the alcohol market in America during 2013 to 2016, with an astronomical 200% growth per year. This percentage has been persisting over these last years, give or take, but we're still a small group, being only around 500 to 600 meaderies in the US in total upon the creation of this video, which means that we're still a pup, but boy do we have some spunk. This growth pretty much exists exclusively in the US, however, as our craft brewing scene is a little bit larger infrastructurally than the old world. Then the question of why is mead so popular always comes to mind, and I have a few theories in this mostly hollow head of mine. The obvious is that beekeeping practices and honey harvesting has become much easier in the last century. If brewers had a choice between growing calm, mild-mannered grains versus getting stung by bees, generally they settle on the former. Now that the systems are better, this line has started to blur, and plenty more meaderies and apiaries are working together to create booze and save bees while doing it. Another theory is that due to home brewers starting with mead and really having no professional outlets to buy it from, a demand was created, which led to supply. And the amount of meaderies and interest in mead started to come to a flame as the American craft brewing industry started to grow as well. Beer brewers started opening up their breweries, and after making beer day in and day out, they still wanted something to brew at home, but maybe something different. So many turned to mead, and the interest continued to rise. Finally, I think that we cannot ignore media's effect on the mead industry, most evidenced by the advertising and labeling practices of meaderies currently. No matter which way you turn, meaderies have utilized both the historical and historical fiction behind the beverage, and have marketed accordingly. Media like video games, television, film, and literature have certainly played a strong role in reinvigorating the intrigue. You may be familiar with the recent Dilly Dilly commercials about mead from Budweiser, sort of a tongue-in-cheek attack on mead and the craft industry, which despite the reluctance of the drinkers in the commercials, Budweiser has actually just announced a mead they wish to launch through a subsidiary company. Are they afraid of mead's rise? Well, either way, they are secretly trying to capitalize off their own marketing by pitting consumers against each other. Smart. But if the mead tastes anything like the beer they make in those festival porta potties they call brew tanks, it'll probably be short-lived. Regardless, the industry behind mead is swelling into a sick wave that'll be totally tubular to ride. But it's still just that, swelling. Schools of thought on how to make mead are developing on the different coasts of the US and in the Midwest as well. Whole states are devoting themselves to different styles like session meads and dessert meads, etc., some of which we talked about in our last episode. There isn't any sort of bottling uniformity behind mead currently, due to such as mead can be virtually found on any shelf in a can or beer bottle or wine bottle and liquor bottle styles. Now, it's a lot of spicy info, am I right? Well, that's not all. If you're watching this and you're a home brewer and you want to try some more mead or pit yourself against others for taste supremacy, you can also attend one of the many mead competitions in the US. Also, more than ever, many wine competitions and festivals are opening their doors to meaderies in this wonderful age that we live in. So, as you can see, no one influence can take credit for mead's current state in the world. But there is one thing for certain. There is no better time than right now to be a mead aficionado. The future is golden and sweet like honey, and we are all optimistic. See ya.